morning, crafters. I've come on to show you, or those of you who are interested, a flip through of my light up fairy journal. I made this as part of a what's it called, a bottle light or light up bottle hop, where Nina, Ibina, Marina, Teresa, Caroline and myself all provided videos and projects of things that you could make with bottle lights, and this was my major project, and it's a light up journal cover. I have got a process video on how to do this, so if you haven't seen the hop and you want to have a look at all the videos, I'll leave a link below. But this is my fairy journal, and I'll just show you here. That's the mechanism, obviously, for turning on and off, because it was designed to go in a bottle, but I've disguised that with lots of ribbons and beads and dangly bits there. Okay, so let's have a quick flick through. There we go. So all the mechanism is hidden behind that. It's not very thick. That's quite flat on there. And yes, we're all everything fairy. So these are actually pictures taken out of a Flower Fairy book. That's a Wayfaring Tree. And I've got some lace here and stitching. Stitch that on. Oh, and this, I put links in, I will, in my description box as to where some of these papers came from. This one I know I bought on Etsy, and there were a few in the journal. This one is one I've made myself. And I've made lots of this sort of, I don't know, a bit like a snippet thing for belly bands and other bits, embellishments. But that one's just holding 3 little envelopes. And each one's got something inside. I can't remember exactly because it's been a little while. So there's a few tickets there. And some fairies. I've really enjoyed doing this. I love making these envelopes as well. They're one of my favourite things. More fairies. Fairy in a lily pond. And some on a toadstool. And all of them are blank, so that you could journal on them if you so desired. Some more vintage fairies. I think this image came from one of the, like a fairy colouring book. And this is another kit which I will put in the description box. I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head. But again, that came from Etsy, but I made that into a little booklet that you could journal in. So those all stack on top of each other. Under there. On this side we've got a stitched pocket, again with paper that I have made, and this is stenciled on with a bit of distress ink. Another vintage fairy. It says at the bottom, she smiled at him very graciously when he was introduced to her. And again, that's blank on the back if you like journaling. Another flower fairy, that's dogwood there. And then over here we've got a kind of sort of flip over thing. And there's 2 tags in the front pocket. Both blank on the back. And on this one we've got a card, and like it's printed on vellum so that you can see behind it. That's some more of my paper there. And then we've got a poem even, by Robert Graves. I'd love to be a fairy's child. Children born of fairy stock never need for shirt or frock, never want for food or fire, always get their heart's desire. Jingle pockets full of gold, marry when they're 7 years old. Every fairy child may keep 2 strong ponies and 10 sheep. All have houses, each his own, built of brick or granite stone. They live on cherries, they run wild. I'd love to be a fairy's child. I thought that was quite a nice poem. A bit more of my paper there. And then this is the centre of the first signature, and I've just made some little things. I think you can, if you can see through that. Again, everything is fairy themed. That's a bit of my masterboard that I made, but I printed out in pink rather than sort of the brown tone that it was. And over here we've got a butterfly caught in a web, I think, with a bee. And again, space for you to write on the back if you want to. Another fairy, and in the centre there's a couple of dangles. I think there's a fairy on that one, and a heart. Okie dokie. So we've got one of these what do you call it, like a hidden paper clip. Well, it's not very hidden, an altered paper clip maybe. And another envelope, and inside that I think this image is one of the covers on the inside covers of the journal. That's pretty. Another fairy, and I think that I've made into some journaling space as well. And that just fits over the page with a clip like that. And here we've got a similar sort of thing to the one that we had before. 2 little tags. And again, another card. I think that came again from the colouring book, and this one is obviously printed so you can see through it. That's another poem by William Butler Yeats. It says, "Come fairies, take me out of this dull world, for I would ride with you upon the wind and dance upon the mountains like a flame." And here we've got a belly band and just a tag that I've made, a little bit of lace. And again, you could journal on the back of that if you so desired. That's another card there. And another stitched pocket. This is another poem called The Fairies. It's up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. Wee folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather. Down along the rocky shore, some make their home, they live on crispy pancakes of yellow tide foam, some in the reeds of the black mountain lake, with frogs for their watchdogs, all night awake. I think that's William Allingham who wrote that. There's another one of those lovely fairy pages. And again, I'll put the link in the description box. That's another flower fairy from the book. That's the end of the first signature, and then the second signature, got a little butterfly at the top there. Another one of those lovely fairy pages. And I've stitched lace and things. I haven't been saying that, but it's quite obvious. I've got lace stitched to the edges. Got another stitched pocket there. More fairies. That's just a birdie. Right, I haven't put any ribbon or seam binding on the top of that one. I might do that. And we've got another belly band there and a butterfly. Two little envelopes. Got a little tag there using the same trim as some of the pages. And another flower fairy. And some fairies and some mushrooms or toadstools. They look very interesting. She's obviously got something interesting to tell them. It's quite a surprise for me because it's been a while since I made it. I can't remember what's in each of these. There's another flower fairy. Looks like a fairy riding a dragonfly. It says, from fitful gleams from Fancyland. And another little journaling booklet. Here we've got a card. A fairy talking to a peacock, as you do. Got another envelope over here. Quite cute. And then another little writing space. And over here we've got another one of these flippy things. The flower fairy and some sort of, looks like blossom and maybe autumn botanical themed tag. And again over here, similar sort of thing. You've got your image on vellum. And some lovely fairies. Got a couple of envelopes here in this pocket, some little envelopes. Oh, it's just got a little tiny tag in it and a butterfly card. Bit of a vintage fairy there. And a butterfly, oh, and another little tag with a bit of the same trim. There's a bit of stenciling on there as well. Another one of those fairy prints. And then we've got one of these things that I've been making. I don't know if I did it on if I showed it on here or if I showed it on Instagram. But like tag tuck spot there with a couple of hearts and a button. And we've got more journaling space there. That's my masterboard, printed in pink. Again, another one of my papers, and I've got a butterfly and a dragonfly there on the dangles. Do love these. I've got a die cut fairy with some glittery wings sitting down here, and another one of these, similar again, a fairy and a botanical tag there, and another one of these. It's like a cowslip and a bee, and a hot air balloon that says fairy. A couple of vintage fairies on water lilies. Another little writing place, and another vintage fairy. I think that image is the same image as I used for the front cover. I thought that was very pretty. Again, that's just in a stitched pocket with a faux button that I made. And that's another one of my papers. Oh, this I like. This is a like a vertical belly band made from the same sort of snippet stuff. But this was something inspired by Gi Kerr, and I'll put a link to her, how she made these, in the description box below as well. But she's done lots of different styles of these. I think these are wonderful. And you can open it up. And over here you've got some tea stain paper to journal on. I've got a couple of images or tags, journaling spots as well, in a little pocket. And I think there's a tag over here as well. I thought that was quite a sweet little way of adding some more journaling space. Oh, she says, not been able to do it up again. I'm sure I can do that a bit better. Never mind, that'll do for now. It's not even going to do it, but you get the idea. And then we've got another fairy. And the last one is another flower fairy from the book. That's Hawthorn. And then we're on the back cover. So thank you for watching. That's my light up fairy journal. Thank you for spending this time with me and for supporting my channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.